Hi, great morning. Just it seems like forever since we played. It's Thursday, Friday, certainly a little bit different than Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Sunday. Sitting back and watching a lot of other teams play the past couple of days has been you're kind of chomping at the bit to get going. I think we've got 4 matches under our belt halfway through the non-conference. I think we're on probably on pace to have a break a school record for attendance. So been really happy with pleased with the crowds that have been coming out and supporting us. Looking forward to hopefully another energetic crowd tomorrow night against Milwaukee. Just taking a look at our stats earlier today, and I think one of the things that's jumping out is, we came out at the beginning of our first match. I thought we were a little bit jittery against Kansas in that first set and shanked some balls. That in the last 12 sets, I think we've been aced 3 or 4 times since that second set against Kansas. And, the Pastors are really putting a lot of work in with Brittany and John, and it's paying off. It's our setters, both setters have been in the pocket a ton. We're getting a lot cleaner in that part of the game. It's because of the work that they've been putting in. And then we have the end of this week our first road trip at a really good Georgia Tech. So excited to get these 2 matches under our belt.
Questions? With Anaya getting her first start, kind of what stood out to you about her, and kind of how do you see her role with Kristen kind of seemingly being that number 1 libero? Kind of how do you see Anaya still kind of fitting in this year?
Yeah, but she's nipping on the heels. I would say it's she's working hard. I thought she did a really good job. That first match, for any sport, that first one as a freshman, I mean, that's you spend half that first set or half the competition just trying to work through some of the nerves and the energy and things like that. And so she's talented. She hasn't gotten a ton of playing time, primarily because our 3 pin hitters do a really good job in the back row, and they take swings, which are our defensive specialists don't do. And so if your outsides can pass and they can hit out of the back row, that's probably preferred most of the time. So it's a tough lineup to crack if you're not number 1 in the libero position. But I thought she did a really good job. I thought pretty much everybody who'd not been in had gotten in against Chicago State. And I thought Natalie Wardlow, I think she'd been in prior to that, but did a really good job. Tosha came in, and I think she hit 800, in that set and a half that she was able to play, and got some good production out of Miley Chan that came in. I think Morgan Van Wee picked up an ace, and so it was a match that we were able to get a lot of different people in, and and they played well.
Kelly, you got 4 matches and 4 more non-conference to go, so you're halfway to the Big Ten. What do you feel like you have to improve the most, or where's your biggest area of growth needed as you get ready for conference?
I mean, there's a lot. As you start getting some matches under your belt, everybody starts having film, and so they start, there becomes a people get right now there's not a lot of players that opposing teams have known much about, and so where they've served have been all over the place, where they've tacked have been all over the place. But as you start getting a little bit more film, they start becoming a little bit more predictable in the areas that they're wanting to go, because they're seeing on film that that's an area that we've got to shore up. I think our blocking's got to continue to get better. That's been a heavy emphasis in the past week and a half in the practice gym, along with our backcourt, just digging balls, being able to control them. I think this is a team that can be really good in transition and getting involved in some longer rallies. And that's got to be something that we are we're dominating that phase of the game. That certainly is going to be a goal of ours. I'd say, the past few years, it's the lengths of the rallies have been a little bit shorter. We've just been very, very physical team at the net, blocking and attacking. That there, where I would say right now we're a little bit more. We're more of a transition team, I would say, which means you're going to have to be solid digging the ball and blocking the ball if you want to win those long rallies.
Kelly, I was going to say, just with the way the schedule has been plotted out for this season, where you start off with 2 ranked teams in the Kohl Center, you have 3 at home, then you go on the road. Just how has your staff kind of worked to just evaluate the team in that way, with seeing how the schedule flows and anything that's changed compared to years past?
No, I think we all have, what is your wish list when you're playing non-conference, but it doesn't always work out the way that you wish because other things kind of get in the way. We were wanting to have as many home matches this year as possible. I think that's been that's been an emphasis that has been requested to me to get more home matches in, which we're certainly happy to do. Love playing in front of this crowd. But not everybody's willing to come. And nowadays you got to pay them to come. And but the competition is, we've gotten, I don't know what we have, 4 or 5 ranked teams out of our 8. So that's a pretty good mix of what we have. Our big thing is just trying to stay healthy. We didn't a good portion of our preseason we weren't real healthy, and now with everybody starting school, I'm sure about every team out there is having to deal with sicknesses and stuff like that. It's part of it. It's so you're trying to manage a little bit. Your training sessions to kind of hopefully get the sicknesses through your rosters as fast as possible, but I'm sure we're not alone right now in that.
Coach, the serving these first 4 matches seems like at times it's been a strength and other times it's been a weakness. What have you seen from the service line so far, and what do you want to see continue to improve?
It's that's the thing with serving. You have a service error and everybody in the building is just like is screaming, right? It's but it's a weapon for us. It needs to be a weapon for us. There's got to be some confidence of our players to go back here and the freedom of be able to put a lot of pressure on them. But I would say some of our errors have been silly. And that's not the number of errors, but just how we're missing. They've got to learn to be in the right mindset to be able to execute when it's time to execute. And but these have been pretty big stages when we've been with some of these errors. But they've got to be able to learn, manage the emotions, and be able to lock in and be able to go and that's an area that we probably can continue to get better at.
Obviously at Milwaukee in the meantime, but with Georgia Tech, kind of what challenges do you expect that team to kind of present to you guys, especially with that, as you said, first road match of the year?
Yeah, I mean they've got a lot of newer players on their roster as well. It's a ranked team. It's a really good team, really well coached. Both teams that we play this week will run a 6-2, and so you've got 3 front row attackers, all 6 rotations. It's the thing with Georgia Tech. One of the things, I mean, they're not only well coached, but it's a small gym, and it's loud and it's packed and it's tight. It's like a small high school gym that is just people sticking their heads through the windows to be able to watch. It can be an attack on your nerves being in that place, and so we'll have to manage that. It's a lot different environment than what we've been playing in.
Kelly, kind of going off of that too, just it's the first road trip, and going down to Georgia Tech. with so many new faces on the roster, is there anything that you have to do differently this week in terms of helping to prepare the new players of making a road trip like this?
Yeah. Good question. I don't know. That's where people like Jess Williams, who's our director of operations, does a really, really good job with it. I mean, she has everything planned to a T, and it's the big part is who is in that role. And if you have somebody that's really good in that role, no matter what the team is, they're 2 steps ahead of everything that is happening, and they're kind of paving the road out in front of you. If you've got somebody that's poor, then you've got some issues, and you're getting a ton of curveballs that the players are having to deal with, and hopefully. It falls on that person to be really good. So there'll be a little bit of talk about it, but it's probably not a ton.
Any last questions?
Thanks, guys.